So today, guys, we're back again with another let's look at the worst dates some girls have ever been on. I'm not sure if it's going to make me feel better or scared that I one day will probably have to enter the world of dating. This is why I avoid dates. Like, I just can't do it. I know I'm about to be shocked by what some of these people do. Like, I don't get it. Some of them are just like, what? But make sure, if you've been on a bad date or you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more quality content from me, guys. Always quality content. He picked me up on a Sunday morning. Thought we're going to have a breakfast date at a hotel. Ended up in the hotel's conference room where his church gathers. Had to sit through a 2-hour church service. Oh, you're like, damn, we're going on a cute breakfast date. It's like, oh no, we're going to church. Yes, you heard correctly, church. Which each to their own. You're going on a date and you go to church and you didn't know you were going to church. Like, I feel like that's something you need to agree on. Like, are you religious? I'm religious. Hey, let's go to a church service. Not, surprise, we're going to church. I would be like, excuse me, what? I'd be like, I'm out, guys. He took me home and we cooked and ate dinner with his mum and dad. Simple, effective, would completely scare the shit out of me. Although it completely depends on the type of parents they are. Like, sometimes you can meet some really cool, like, chill, young parents, but sometimes it can be like, we're having dinner with my mum and dad. I don't live out of home. I have no idea who I am or what I'm doing with my life. And you're like, good first date, everyone. I'll be back for seconds. Hey, it could end up being the man that you end up with. You never know with these dates. Some of these stories are terrible, absolutely terrible, but you never know what happened after. It might have worked out. It's a good story to tell. A guy spent all of dinner telling me about his ex-girlfriends and how after each breakup he had to move out of their place and move back home. Then he asked how big my apartment was. There is a way to approach trying to steal somebody's home. Like, you break up with your girlfriend, you're like, I'm gonna have to go find another one. Oh, it's so inconvenient. But you're on the date and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, like every time I break up with my partner, I have to move back home. It really sucks. By the way, how big's your apartment? Do you have like aircon? How's the fridge size? Pets? What? How many bathrooms? Like, what's? Just wondering. Like, not because of that. I'm just curious. You know? What? Come on. You got to wait at least 2 or 3 dates before you start asking to move in. Come on. He talked about himself non-stop and only asked me 2 questions. Was Michael Jackson guilty? What was the point of Dewey Decimal System? Then he got an emergency text about a fire in the chemistry lab he was supervising and invited me to come. Hard pass. That was like a whirlwind. I'm like, big sentences like that, big paragraphs like that, you know Tannar can't read that. Okay, so was Michael Jackson guilty? What was the point of the Dewey Decimal System? And an emergency text about a fire. You would usually think that that was the way out of the date. Like, oh, I've got an emergency, I've got to go. It's like, no, you can come to the chemistry lab that I, supervise. You can come. There's an emergency. But also, do you think Michael Jackson was guilty? Guilty of what? So confused. I wouldn't even know how to answer these questions. We were supposed to go out, but first he needed me to give him a ride to help his friend move out and ended up robbing the place. Can you imagine being like, okay, I'm going on a date with this guy. Seems promising. Seems good. Can you just like drop me off? I've got to help my friend move out. And then he ends up robbing a place. Like literally being a criminal on the date. Builds character, I guess. Long story short, he smelled like fish. Good start. Let's keep going. His car didn't go into reverse and he had no conversation skills. After trying to spark different convos, I just stopped talking and we sat in silence. That is my biggest fear when it comes to going on dates. I don't want to meet random people and not be able to have a conversation. Like, don't get me wrong. I can have a conversation with almost anyone. If he smells like fish and he can't talk, that's just scary. The world of dating haunts me, guys. It haunts me. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it.
No, don't do it.
He picked me up, then went back to his house to pick up his mother because she was hungry and wanted to tag along. We went to the movies as well and she sat between us. By the way, she talked the whole time during the movie. Okay, so first, he's brought his mother. Second, makes the mother sit in between you two on the date. And then she talks the whole movie, which is probably the worst thing you could ever do. You're in a movie, watch it, please. I just can't imagine being on a date and the mum's there and the boy's there. Oh my God. This is why I don't want to do it, guys. This is literally why I don't want to do it. Horrifying. This is not okay. Literally, we sat across from each other at a table at a coffee shop. He did not order a drink and he fired questions at me like it was a job interview. Then he ended the date after half an hour, but he texted me later wanting to see me again. So clearly the interview went well, guys. I guess I made it to the second round of interviewing. It's like, imagine if that's how people date. Like, is that something that they do? Like, you might be the right one for me, but answer these questions. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, you need to know, but usually it's like a slow process. You like slowly get into it, not, hey, here's all these questions, answer them, and then I'll see if you're welcome back for a second round. God damn. I'm horrified. We met online and she was cute and charming, so I asked her out. Over dinner, I remember being asked what my job was, if I'd ever been arrested, how was my credit, and how many partners I had in my life. Jesus Christ, another job interview for this one. She was angry that I didn't want to go out with her again, and I ended up having to block her number. I know she found out that I made really good money and was basically a gold digger looking to get married. Okay, so she knew you had money, and then she came and asked you what your credit and how many partners you had? Like, What do you mean? How does this happen? How is this a thing? And how do people go through this all the time? That's what I don't get. What is dating? Guys, what is it? I don't understand. Help me. What's going on? He got drunk and cried about his ex-girlfriend that dumped him for some douche. What a poor guy. Like, you would feel so shit about yourself because you've gone out on a date. Maybe you didn't want to. Maybe you got pushed to do it. Maybe you just wanted to put yourself out there. And he cries about his ex. So clearly he wanted a rebound, and yet he got drunk and cried about his ex. Like, oh God. I would just like want to hug him and be like, it's going to be okay, buddy. It's going to be okay. I went on a date with a guy, and in the middle of dinner, he asks me, "You're an accountant, right?" I said that I am. He pulls out a folder and says, "This is my tax return from last year. Would you mind taking a look at it? I want to know if the guy I paid prepared it properly." What is that? And why does it exist? Like, so like say you met on Tinder and it says that you're an accountant. So you're like, listen, I'm going to try and take this girl out. And then when the time is right, I'm going to pull out my folder and see if my tax return was done correctly. It's cheap, it's easy, it's efficient. It's also really up. So please don't do that. Imagine that, just going out on different dates with different people to get different things. People going on dates for me to get, yeah, I can't really give anything. I can't really offer much. A shout out on YouTube. Told me we were going to this restaurant I really had been wanting to go to in our town. He said he would pay for the meal. Ching ching, free food. Yes, the foodie in me was pretty excited to try this place I'd never been before. When we walk right past it, I start questioning where this date was going. So we ended up at McDonald's. He ordered himself some food and promptly asked me if I wanted something, which of course I denied. Cue the next 45 minutes of almost silence, except for him chowing down on French fries. French fries. He was eating them French fries. I don't understand this. If he said he was going to the nice restaurant, why did you go to McDonald's? Did he think he had money and then he didn't have money? Like, I need to know what happened. Why is this the way that it is? But why would you deny getting Macca's? Macca's is still good, depending on the country you're in. Australian Macca's is beautiful. See, I'm not the one person that's like, I would eat Macca's and go on a date. Like, that does not bother me. It's the company you keep, in my opinion. But if you said you'll go on this real fancy restaurant that's nice and you wanted to go to, and then you end up at Macca's, I'd be pissed about that. I won't lie. We met at a sit-down Chinese restaurant. I ordered a beer. He pulled out a medallion he wore around his neck that was given to him from Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, my heart, my soul. He told me he was in recovery. It was awkward after that, and I couldn't drink the beer in front of him. I never saw him after that. I would never want to see him either. It's like, oh, can I please get a side of thanks? And then they pull out this medallion. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I am so sorry. I did not mean to offend you. I apologize. If they're a nice person, they're recovering, I'd probably see them again, but I would just be so apologetic, which, depending on the type of person, you can't expect them to know that you're a recovering alcoholic. Like, really? So I would just be like, I'm gonna take this beer back to the bar and I'll come back for some water. Worst pre-date. Ooh, there's a pre-date? Wait, what do you mean? Like, just read the story, Tanner. Just read the story. Asked me if I liked heels, and when I said yes, asked if I could wear them to our date along with high-waisted jeans, full face of makeup, and lip gloss he likes. And followed up with, are you gonna look good for me and let me feel you up a little? What? Why is this a thing? I'm genuinely shocked by this. A full face of makeup, high-waisted jeans, lip gloss he likes. This is why I don't date everyone. I can't even. Met via an online dating site. He corresponded with me daily for weeks and seemed pretty interested. Invited me to hang out, and it actually turned out to be an MLM recruitment meeting. What's an MLM? Multi-level marketing. Oh, okay, I see. You think you're dating somebody and then you rock up, you're like, oh my God, this is so good. And they're like, oh no, you're actually, you're part of this MLM recruitment meeting. What are you talking about? Who was the person? It was a dating site. Why are you picking up people on a dating site for a recruitment meeting? Shows up with a friend who is dressed like Michael Jackson. Good start, guys. Good start. On our way to the car, the friend drops a bottle and shard of glass pops into my date's eye. Why was Michael Jackson there? Cut to the ER. Me and the friend are in the waiting room. It's packed. He gets up and proceeds to put on a full concert of MJ tunes. MJ tunes. Why are you complaining about that? That sounds amazing. I don't know what you're upset about, honestly. He kissed me terribly. Okay, so this guy's a bad kisser. We're starting off the story strong. Mid-sentence while I was talking about my mum being in hospital. Oh my God. Oh my God. There is a time and there is a place for kissing a girl terribly. And it's usually not when she's talking about her mum being in hospital. I just want to put that out there. That's not an ideal time to be doing that kind of stuff. Each to their own, each to their own. Went on a date to see Mariah Carey with a dude who talked the entire time and tried to scam better seats he didn't pay for. On the way to the car, he dumped a bunch of trash on the ground and proceeded to pee on it. Wait, what? Worst date in my entire life. Obviously. So he just grabbed a bunch of trash and then peed on it, but tried to get you better seats with Mariah Carey? Come on. That's a hustle, man. I'm joking. Don't do that. That is not a good thing. Why are you peeing in front of your date? I don't get it. There's a time and a place for urinating, and that's not it. Went on a date with a retired athlete. Oh, you know it's gonna be bad, guys. Retired athletes, they're the worst. Asked me why I didn't have kids yet. I'm 27. Jesus Christ. Christ, 27 isn't even that old. Ask what's wrong with me for not having them. Convinced that I must have issues and that my time is ticking. Ask when I am ovulating and that he'd give me a child if I need it. At least the man's offering his sperm, okay? Other than that though, what the hell? Convinced that I must have issues if I don't have a kid by 27. What world are you living in, man? Women are having kids at 40 now. You don't need to be 27 and have a baby. That's early days, man. Early days. Over coffee, he told me he was married and his wife was flexible. There was no second date. You reckon? I don't know the women out there who are okay with that. Like, yeah, you're married, I'll just be a side piece. Why? No. Please don't do that to yourself, women. Whammons. But on that note, we're going to finish that off because those dates are the reason I'm probably going to die alone because I can't be bothered being out and about trying to do that. I'm not for it, guys. I'm not for it. But honestly, if you've had dates like this, please put them in the comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna die alone, guys. That is just horrible. Yeet.